Let me start with IDC's definition of digital transformation, which we see as the dramatic shift that organizations are making in terms of the way that they engage and interact with customers, partners, employees, and even things as part of the broader ecosystem. But importantly, using new and innovative technologies to drive new types of business outcomes. And our view is that organizations need to master 5 key disciplines in order to evolve on their digital transformation journey. First of all, they need to execute flawlessly on a bold vision around digital transformation. Secondly, they need to think about a new type of experience that they deliver to customers and the broader ecosystem. Then they also need to think about using information and data in a completely different way, in a much more strategic fashion. Fourthly, they need to think about an operating model which connects processes, products, and assets and the relating structures to drive a new type of competitive advantage. And lastly, they need to think about forming teams and tapping talent for the digital era. And so those are the 5 key dimensions or disciplines that organizations need to master: leadership, omni-experience, information, operating model, and work source. And what's fascinating is to see how organizations are redefining their business model linked to digital transformation. A really good example comes from John Deere, which has set up an intelligent solutions group which connects tractors, combine harvesters, and other machines to deliver data and new insights to farmers and distributors within their ecosystem. Or BBVA Bank, a leading Spanish bank under the leadership of Francisco Gonzalez, which has acquired a big data company in Spain, a startup around user experience on the west coast of the US, all with the focus on becoming a digital bank. And this is really digital transformation in action. It's redefining speed and scale and potential business outcomes linked to technology. And what I'm seeing are 2 key things in the market linked to this. Firstly, that these initiatives are CEO-led. It's being driven by the boardroom. And secondly, information plays a completely different role. It's information-driven. So information platforms and technologies mean that data is becoming a key asset for the new information business to support digital transformation. If you think about the CIO's title, Chief Information Officer, it should fit in his or her responsibility. And IDC has been quoted very visibly as highlighting that data or information without integrity will not be able to support any digital transformation. And so it's critical for the CIO to play a role here. There's plenty of information silos that are springing up across a variety of different areas in the organization, linked to islands of innovation, linked to digital use cases, whether they be an IoT use case around the edge, a mobile application, a new cloud-based application. And the CIO really needs to think about orchestrating those islands of innovation, bringing them together and developing a consistent information management architecture and governance model for the broader organization. And then start to build up a digital platform strategy to link up those islands of innovation. We've created a view of information transformation for the CIO across 5 key sub-dimensions. And the idea is to support an end-to-end information management strategy for the CIO to drive digital transformation in his or her respective organization. First of all, we talk about data discovery, which is essentially where we look at data wrangling at the high end for the data scientists versus democratization of data for the business users around the edges. We look at data value development, and we're going to focus there on data innovation labs and the need to create new roles like the Chief Data Officer role. Then we look at digital value realization, and in that area what we're looking to do is to monetize new analytical use cases, particularly with a focus on IoT as the underlying technology. In the information to support knowledge and collaboration subdimension, we're looking at bridging the gap between the CIO and the Chief Digital Officer and how to build partnerships in that respect. The last subdimension is information architecture, where we look at creating a new black belt type of reference architecture that brings together the traditional IT efforts around data with new digital efforts around big data, IoT, and increasingly cognitive computing. So most organizations, based on our assessment, are still at the very early stages of their maturity as it links to the use of information in a strategic fashion to support digital transformation. In fact, in Europe, 83% of organizations are in stages 1, 2, or 3 on a scale of 1 to 5, with only 5% really delivering holistic, real-time information across all digital transformation initiatives, which essentially is the holy grail, where organizations really need to target in terms of their usage of information. IDC sees an opportunity for the rise of the disruptive CIO that will step up to the plate and start to drive back office and front office integration initiatives by creating a common data platform to integrate traditional IT workloads, but also emerging real-time ones linked to digital. And IDC believes that CIOs who grab this opportunity will be really well equipped to answer questions that CEOs will inevitably ask as part of any broader digital transformation effort. So IDC has developed a set of supporting methodologies that you can use to assess where you are on your digital transformation journey versus where you want to get to in terms of the usage of information specifically. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that and leverage that as part of all your initiatives across your organization.